Hey, it's Julia from LAYC's Food and Nutrition program, and today I'm talking about tomato sauce. In my house, tomato sauce is a staple. We eat it all the time. We have it over pasta, we have it in lasagna, we have it straight out of the pot. Sometimes we have store-bought tomato sauce, like this one. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes we have canned diced tomatoes, like these, and every once in a while, we have both. When I have both, one of my favorite things to do is combine them. I call it stretching the sauce. It helps me get twice as much out of one jar of store-bought sauce. Now, whether I'm using store-bought sauce or diced tomatoes, I always add vegetables. Whatever I have around in my fridge usually is worth adding. In fact, I usually raid my fridge and my freezer just to see what I have. Today, I actually had a little bit of diced tomatoes left over from a can I opened earlier, and I also found a zucchini and an onion in my fridge. I also found a bag of spinach in my freezer, so that's what's going in my sauce today. If there's other things you have around on hand, that can work too. Don't be shy about trying to add things that you find. Frozen broccoli, bell peppers, mushrooms, string beans, whether they're frozen or fresh or in a can, all of those things can go into your sauce. That means you're adding all those extra nutrients and you're stretching your sauce to make even more of it so it's gonna last for more meals. Before we make our sauce, I wanna show you how to prep these vegetables. Now, my onion was already cut in half. If yours isn't, you're just gonna cut it carefully in half with a big knife and then put the cut side down so it doesn't roll around. We're gonna cut off the end, throw that in the trash, and then peel off the papery outer layers. Now, I'm not making a lot of sauce today. I'm gonna cut it down the middle because I'm only gonna use a piece of this. Now, with my non-knife holding hand, I'm carefully crimping my fingers back. The knife is gonna start at the front and roll down to give me a nice slice. I'm gonna do the same thing, moving these fingers back to carefully cut. And again, and again, and one more time. Now, my pieces bounced around on the cutting board, no big deal. All of this, it's all going in a pot with sauce. It doesn't need to be perfect. Now I'm gonna cut them in the other direction to get a dice. Again, I'm keeping these fingers far away from the blade, starting with the front of my blade and rolling backward. Remember, it doesn't need to be perfect. It's going into a big bowl of tomato sauce, and it's gonna be delicious. My onion is diced. Now we're gonna work on the zucchini. I'm gonna cut off the stem end, get rid of that, and now I'm gonna carefully cut it lengthwise. With my fingers in a bridge over the blade, I'm gonna start at the front, cut down, and then cut all the way back to here. Now that there's a nice flat surface, I put that down, and I'm gonna just do a careful, with my fingers tucked back, chop right along here. Okay, ready to cook. I've poured my leftover diced tomatoes from the can I opened the other day into my pot, and I'm gonna add the zucchini that we just cut up and the onion. I'm gonna turn my burner onto medium and let it get going. Let's take a look. Now remember, I also found some frozen spinach in my freezer. What I did with that was I just ran it under some hot water in a strainer. And now I'm gonna add that in. You can do the same thing with frozen broccoli, any veggies you've got in the freezer. If you want to add canned vegetables, those are a great addition too. You just want to open the can, drain out all the liquid because it's really high in sodium or salt, and then you're gonna rinse it off with a little water and then pour it right in just like I did the spinach. Since I'm just using plain diced tomatoes, I want to add some flavor to this. I'm going to add a little bit of salt and pepper. If I was using store-bought sauce, I would want to taste it before I added any because it might already have a fair amount of salt, pepper, and other spices in there. But diced tomatoes are often plain. I'm also going to add whatever spices and herbs I have around that I like. I like to add oregano. That's one of my favorites. But you can do whatever you like. It's a fun thing you can experiment with. That's my oregano. And in my house, we like things a little spicy. So I'm gonna add some hot pepper flakes too. You definitely don't have to do that if you don't like them. And now we're gonna give it a stir and let it go. If you're feeling fancy, you can saute your onions first in olive oil. You can steam your zucchini and add them at the end so they're just the right texture. But what I want you to know is that you don't have to do that. Right now, it's about feeding yourself, feeding your family, making it easy, getting some vegetables in there. It's okay to throw everything in the pot with your canned diced tomatoes, add some flavor, and call it a day. That is a perfectly good meal to serve up. I've cooked my sauce for about 20 minutes. Everything's gotten a lot softer. The flavors are starting to come together. There's salt and pepper that I've added throughout as I tasted it. You can take a look at how the veggies are doing. You can see the zucchini has gotten much softer, and I think it's ready to go. Now, you can cook yours as long as you want. If you have big broccoli flowers in there, you're gonna need a little longer. And if you have these kind of lighter vegetables, it might just take 20 minutes. Remember, it's really up to you and the way you like your sauce. I've only made a little bit here, but I really encourage you, if you're making sauce, make a lot. Stretch your sauce. Use store-bought sauce, use canned tomatoes, and make a whole thing of it because you'll be able to use it all the time. You'll be glad you have it, and you've snuck in those extra vitamins and minerals and nutrients with those veggies you added in.